I currently live in Atlanta, originally from Philly. Spent some time in Portland. And I have the honor of working at an organization called BibleProject, where I get to be a professional nerd or an associate research scholar in the traditional type of title. And just trying to help people understand the Bible as a unified story that leads to Jesus. Death is a pretty frequent visitor in my life, but I can't count on two hands how many people that I personally know that are no longer here. And I'm like, okay, God, you got to show up for me. I found myself really praying, like praying. And in Black culture, when you mean something, you say it twice. you're like, yo, I'm not joking. Like, I'm just joking. You know what I'm saying? But I found myself praying. And what I mean by that, like, I'm literally laying before God, head to the floor, or I'm sitting in my car crying. That's typically where I pray, just sit in my car. And I found myself going like, yo, you got to do something about this. I'm still on a journey to understand what that means. But if I watched your son through these retellings in this thing that we call the Bible, if I've seen him navigate pain and suffering, how do I pattern that way? Oh, he always talked to you. Okay, so that means I should probably talk to you if he's my rabbi. And so I go, Father, you got to do something. Like, I know in theory, again, that there's coming a day when all pain, suffering will be eliminated, where tears will be wiped away, where there's no stone unturned when it comes to God's redemption of all things. But until that day, I'm in the here and now. Like, I live outside of the garden. I gotta go to God. And if I don't, I feel lost. Feel very lost. No amount of conversations that I have with family or friends or associates or whatever category of people, there's nothing like when I actually take time to stand with God face to face through prayer. And I'm like, yo, this is how I'm feeling. This sucks. Yeah, I'm a priest. I don't want to fluff them up and give. You know how I feel like Psalm 13. I think it's Psalm 13 when David writes how he's like, yo, this is how I really feel up front. And then he gets into a petition, and then he gets to praise at the end. So much of my theology of suffering and so much of my prayer life has been, let me fluff God up first. Let me give the praise first, like a scapegoat, to really then get to what I want to say and to get to where my honest emotions are. And I've learned through just my experiences and just my under 30 years of life, I got to go to God.